Hi, I'm Kate Bergener. I'm a graphic designer and I specialize in interactive PDFs. I use technology through form fields and buttons inside of a document to do all kinds of cool stuff, to move users' information from place to place, allow them to brainstorm, research, choose applicable pieces of their own work, or choose specific like questions or pieces of information that you have designated, combine them in different ways, perform calculations. The workbooks can provide instruction right at the point that the person needs it most, either through a tooltip that appears and disappears when you enter and exit a field, or hints that can toggle on and off. All kinds of really interesting technology to take advantage of when you're putting together an information piece and remove friction for your users and really like help them advance through a process instead of your workbook just like landing on their desktop and never being opened again. Um, I am currently working on a lead magnet that lets people use all of this interactivity so they can get a better sense of what it can do. Because, as I don't know if it's clear, but I'm not great at explaining it with words so much. So, what I'm doing right now is I am writing the text of the document. It's like 80% done. I'm going to go back and finesse some stuff. I've sent it out to somebody to take a look at already, and she was very enthusiastic about it. I will be working with her on a workbook in the next couple of months, but there were things that I described in the Google Doc that she didn't even realize were an option. So I think even people who have kind of an idea of how this might be useful, just touching the tool and like manipulating it and seeing the information move around and seeing how you can use things to like create a transformation for the user is going to be super, super helpful. And anyway, this is kind of a behind the scenes series showing how I'm building my own lead magnet that has a lot of cool interactivity. So we're in the actual text of the lead magnet itself. How I like to work on interactive indications inside of the copy is I usually tend to use brackets. I'm a person who uses parentheses all the time in my writing. I'm one of those people. But I almost never use brackets. So something like this is really easy for me to know, hey, this is a button, this is a field, this is something needs to happen here. Um, so I have broken this document down into mostly what the actual tools are going to be, just because I knew that I wanted to cover like a bunch of specific tools that I wanted people to get a chance to use. I'm focusing on transfer fields, a couple of different quiz types, summary boxes, which are super cool, using drop downs to like make a thing happen instead of just like, hey, this is my answer to this question. Um, Calculated fields, using checkboxes to move um, pieces of information from specific fields to a new field altogether. And then kind of making like a little printable for somebody to gather all of their information. Initially, I was just going to kind of throw all of that stuff in here and be like, click this button, it does this, put numbers in here, it does this. But I decided that it would be more useful to like actually be a tool to do some planning. So that's what this has evolved into. It's planning, like it's introducing you to interactivity, kind of getting you to think about how the interactivity can help you reach a specific goal. And then, like, after you've used the actual functions, like, you get a better sense of how that can dovetail with the things that you might want to teach. But then it also helps you kind of think about what might you want to teach. If you have not already been thinking about a digital product of some kind, this could be a super useful planner. And also, my friend Jen, who is my frequent collaborator and has written the text for many workbooks that I have designed, she is also like the queen of figuring out pricing. So she put together a return on investment section because I knew I wanted to do calculated fields and I wasn't sure what to do with that. And she was like, let's show them how the interactive workbook could be like a substitution for a service that they do already, a downsell, just a extra generator of income, and like kind of talk to them about what it might mean to sell these things and how that might affect their business. So that's really all her. But anyway, as you go through each page, things happen. You use a tool, and then at the bottom, there's going to be a button that's like, tell me more about this particular type of tool. And then when you click it, a pop-up will show up that's like, hey, this is what just happened on this page. This is what it's useful for. This is how you can kind of think about it in a more global sense, as opposed to just this one specific instance. And I think it's going to be like really useful in helping deepen people's understanding because again, talking about the workbook, the functionalities is like something I can kind of do, but actually using it or seeing it happen is going to be so much more valuable to people. So the initial page was kind of some hiding and showing and transfer fields. And then this part is going to be a multiple choice quiz. And there's no wrong or right answer to this quiz. It's kind of just like helping them identify what like where they are right now with interactivity, what their level of familiarity is with it. And then as they choose something, instead of a box that says, hey, that's the right answer, good job, or hey, that's the wrong answer, and here's why, there's going to be pop-ups that show like more context about like the level of familiarity that they're at. And then again, the button at the bottom that says, hey, let's learn more about a multi-choice quiz. This is a really cool quiz type. I really love this part. This is COUNTIF is kind of the function that you're doing, but like if you've ever had to go through a list of statements and be like, these 6 apply to me, and then I have to remember that it was 6 that applied to me, and then I have to see where the category is that I fall into. This does this automatically. These will be checkboxes, and there will be like a box that has a running tally of how many checkboxes that you have checked off. And then once you have gone through the list and you see what your number is, you can match yourself up with the category, and then you can have more context about how that category applies to you. So that one is really fun, and I think that that's going to be useful to sort of demonstrate some of the benefits of interactivity, but state them as goals that people have, because not everybody wants to do all of the things that an interactive tool can do. And then the first summary box is actually going to be text inside of a field that I have pre-coded that fires whenever one of the checkboxes above is checked in the previous section. So if somebody says, I know a lot about writing a specific type of content or copy, and I want to teach people how to do this. It will say, okay, so you want to be able to do this, and here are the specific features in interactive workbooks that like really let you achieve that goal. So it's not just like, I know I want to do something interactive, but like I know that having drop downs, having summary boxes, having transfer fields, those specific things are going to be really, really useful to how I want to teach what I would like to teach. So that is the first summary box. Those are super, super cool. You can code them to do all kinds of different things. Generally, you are gathering information from multiple places and then giving people like a actionable piece of text. This one is not so actionable other than like you can read it and understand more. There's another summary box later on that I will show you that's really fun. And then drop down selector. This one, again, this is a question and then 3 answers that somebody could choose. But when they choose one of the answers, it's not just like, congratulations, you have chosen your answer. Something happens when you use the drop down. So if they say that they want to catch some of the leads that either don't have the budget to work with me or that I can't fit into my calendar, there's going to be a pop-up that shows like a little bit more about how interactive workbooks could help achieve that, and then a mini case study of something that I have done that is specific to that particular use case. So just by choosing the answer to the drop down, that is a thing that somebody can like execute. They could see more context. It's also going to, on the next section, unhide a highlight around one of these sections, so they know which return on investment they should focus on based on their goal that they stated in the previous section. Um, so again, a drop down can hide or show different things. It can like uncover a block of fields. It can do all kinds of cool stuff. Um, and the return on investment stuff, again, that's my friend Jen. She is very good at figuring out not just like the how the calculated fields work, but like how they're relevant to your life. So it's not just like, here, this is an order form. I want 5 of these and they cost this much, and here's how much I owe at the bottom. But like, here is a way to work through the process of what are your services like? How long do you spend on them? And then if you were able to sell this thing for a half of the price of one of your services, and it freed up this amount of time for you, what would that do for your business? Stuff like that. So it's going to be like really exciting for somebody to use this and kind of get more of a sense of like, this is an investment in buying myself time down the road or capturing leads that otherwise might just disappear because they can't afford my signature service, or like I don't have time to work with them or something like that. And it'll be super informative to the user of the lead magnet, like, oh, this is like actually kind of a thing that could be a useful different form of revenue for my business, and this is how, and this is like what I might want to start to think about charging for this particular thing. Um, and then this is a spot where you can kind of brainstorm what kind of thing you might want to talk about. You might want to teach what specific areas of expertise that you have, what specific processes that you're really good at that people ask you about all the time, what things people might need to do before they start working with you, all kinds of cool stuff. So the main feature of this is actually after they've gone through some thinking and some spot for brainstorming, they will have a chance to fill in 4 different fields that are like, these are some viable options for an informational tool. And then once they think about like which of those is most appealing, which of them intrigues them the most, and they can save their work and come back to it later, they'll choose a checkbox next to that thing, and then it will just scoot it on down to this next page. So this is an example of using multiple fields, letting people brainstorm, do research, like come up with all of these things. And then instead of being like, okay, I want to do this and like thinking about it and remembering it until they get to another section, because this field right here, this could be the next page as it will be, or it could be like 20 pages later. By allowing somebody to like check a box next to the thing that is most relevant to them, it moves it right to where it needs to be. It removes all of the friction for the user. Um, it just really makes something really actionable because they don't have to like be thinking back to their previous answers. Moving the information around within a workbook is so key. And I think that it is really one of the things that sets this sort of approach apart, instead of just having like a fillable field and then like, okay, what were you thinking about before? Now rewrite something here. That's not useful. The technology does all of the work, and they can just focus on the learning and the thinking and the doing part, which is really fun. So anyway, this is another spot to brainstorm a little bit further. And then this is a printable, and this gathers information from across the document. Most of these are transfer fields that will allow people to like just have written something already and it will move down here. But being able to look at all of the stuff that you've done on multiple pages in one spot and just kind of like think things through more, or be motivated by like all of that gathered information, or like you could print it off and be like, this is a thing that I want to do, and here's all of the thoughts that I had about it, I think is really useful. They could physically print it. They could just come back to this page when they are ready to like take action on it. It could be, it's just like a way of getting all of their thoughts into one spot, which is really excellent when it comes to working through like a templated thing. So you could say, do this work here, do this work here, do this work here. Now here's your toolbox of everything that you need to do. Um, and then the final one, this is the other summary box, and it's a little bit goofy, and I really love it. It's a pre-written email that kind of brings together everything that the person has done. If they want to, there's no, like, it's, I can't see what work they do in here. It's totally private to them. But if they want to, they could copy and paste this from this field into email and then just send that on off to me. And then we would be able to have a conversation and they wouldn't have to like re-explain all of the work that they were trying to do. This gathers all the relevant information and we could start to take action on their idea right away. So yeah, I'm pretty stoked about this. My other copywriting friend decided that this was absolutely genius because again, it's removing friction. It's um, like not somebody has to send the workbook back in or something like that. It's as easy as copying and pasting from one spot to another. And you can use a summary field to paste into email, to paste into a web page builder, to paste into a survey builder. You can do all kinds of things with just like this raw text. And it's not going to result in formatting errors. It's not going to have like any other issues with it. It's all going to be like assembled for you and ready to take action on, which I absolutely love. Okay, so that is the text of my lead magnet so far. As I said, I'm going to go through, I'm going to rework some of the parts. I had specific feedback from my potential client who is a copywriter and did tell me to do a couple of things to it. Um, and there's a couple of pieces that are not finished, or like some of the text that I want to write out before I have to code it in some of the summary fields. So my next step is to finish that part, but you won't get another video for that because that's boring. And then after that, I'm going to start building it because it is for my own business. I do already have branding. I've done a ton of documents for myself, so I kind of already know the look and feel of what I'm going to pull in to incorporate the branding into the document itself. Um, but like the pop-ups and stuff, I don't know what they're going to look like yet because I haven't done anything like that for my own business. So that will be the next step, is to start to build the visual side of it. And I will include, as I do that, the texts in the, or I'm sorry, the fields in the InDesign document itself. And then I will go back and add the coding after that. So I'll probably, the next video will probably be something visual. And then the video after that is going to start to be playing with some of the coding and the functionality coming together. So thank you so much for joining me. If this is something that you're interested in, uh, I will at some point have a link to a landing page to get this when it's done. But if you want to just email me directly because you're like, hey, I'm working on something like this right now and I would love to include some interactivity, I'd love to talk with you. My email address will be in the description below, and you can contact me directly, and we'll get to chat talking about how this could work for your business. Thank you.